Hello, my name's Julie. I'm from Spellbound, and today I'm going to show you how to make a lovely lily decorated hair comb using the lily flower that we made in the previous video. It's a very simple technique and it makes the most of this beautiful flower. I've assembled the materials I need to make our decorated hair comb. I've got the lily that I made in the previous video. I'm just going to pop that aside for one moment because I need to concentrate on these remaining items. I've got some bugle beads and some wire to make the stamens that will go to either side of the lily, and of course I've got my hair comb. Now this is the standard hair comb that we use at Spellbound for adding decoration. It's just a normal size and it's got 3 drilled holes along the top bar. Now you can drill these holes in any sort of plastic hair comb, or you can get one ready drilled, or you can leave it as it is and make the bindings around the full width of this top bar rather than passing through the little holes. You'll find it's a little bit more fiddly, but you can get the same result. I'm going to pop that aside for the moment while I concentrate on making the stamens. Now the stamens are made, each one either side, with about 80 centimetres of 0.315 wire and a selection of bugle beads. Now these are size 3 bugle beads, which is around about 7 millimetres long, perhaps a tiny bit longer, and I'm going for a silver lined crystal because I think that will look really nice and dramatic against the colours I've chosen for my lily. Now I've made twisted stamens like this in previous videos when I did the short tiara course, so if you've seen one of those videos you'll know how this works. I'm going to put on 3 bugle beads onto one end of the wire, and I'm going to bring it all the way down to the centre. I'm going to make a small triangle from the bugle beads and I'm going to pinch right against the base of the triangle and give it a twist. I'm now going to move my twist a short distance away, around about 1 centimetre, and twist to the new pinch. So the first twist just holds that triangle nice and tight. The second twist, where I've held slightly further away, gives me a stem. Right, now both ends should be the same length, but if you've got one that's slightly longer, which I have here, I'm going to use that to make my next little triangle. So it's 3 bugle beads, bring them down towards the base of the previous twist, but not quite there, about 1 centimetre away, and I'm going to make a new triangle. There we go. So there's my new triangle about 1 centimetre away from the base of the previous one. I'm now going to pinch at the base of the new triangle, one twist just to hold it in place, and then I'm going to bring those 2 sides of the wire parallel to pinch at the base of the first twist and twist to the pinch. And that gives me 2 triangles on 2 little stems. Now if I continue doing this technique all from the same point, I'll end up with a spray of little triangles. I want this to grow and develop into something that looks more like a branch, so I need to add a bit of length below. So I'm going to pinch both sides of the wire together about 1 centimetre down and twist to the pinch. And that now looks a bit like a capital Y. Right, let's find the longest end, which is this one. And what I'd like to do, oops, that's a twist come undone, I'll just put that twist back in. not managing to untwist it. There we go, that's better. What I'd like to do is I'd like to reproduce those two little stamens on this side. So I'd like to make 2 triangles, 2 small little branches and this bit of stem, because that will give me some width. So I'm going to put on 3 bugle beads for the first triangle, and I'm going to bring them down towards the base of this little twist here. Now I need this distance here between the base of the new triangle and the bottom of the previous twist to be equivalent to that distance plus that distance. So it's that twist and that twist, which is about that far, there to there. Right, make my little triangle. You can see we're about 2 centimetres away from the base of the previous twist. Pinch just below to start the triangle and then pinch a short distance away and twist to the new pinch. And when I separate the 2 wire ends, you can see we've got a bit of untwisted wire there. That's going to become the equivalent of that twist there, but before I can do it I need to make another triangle. So same end of the wire, 1, 2, 3 bugle beads, make a triangle, and the base of the triangle needs to be about 1 centimetre from the base of the previous twist. That's the triangle we've just made. There's the base of that twist, there's our new triangle. So pinch off the new triangle with a twist, and then let's hold at the base of the previous twist, and now we've got another V of bugle triangles. Now we've got that little bit of untwisted wire we can deal with. Bring the same side of the wire parallel with that, pinch at the base of the first sort of double twist, if you like, where we've put both things together, and there you can see we've made a side branch that's identical to the first branch. So we've got the 2 small twists and then the twist that brings them to the 2 together. Right, let's make a bit more length. So both sides of the wire together again, and let's twist to about 1 centimetre down. Find the longest end of the wire, which is this one, and I'm going to do the same again. So I've made a bit of width to this side, now I'm going to make a bit of width to that side. Now there's nothing to stop you just doing a long meandering stamen, or you could do several short stamens. In fact, you don't need stamens at all, you could just do 2 or 3 lilies, but the stamens help to break the edge of the design and make it a little bit more glamorous. Let's face it, glamour is good. So it's 3 more bugles. You can see I've done the same again. I've put it onto a longer length of wire. I've made my small triangle with a small twist beneath it. I'm now doing the same. This second triangle is a short distance away from the previous triangle. Here we go. Twist to hold that in place, and then twist to the base of the previous triangle. Then bring the 2 sides of the wire parallel. This is the base of the main trunk here. I'm going to pinch. There we go. Now you can see I've got quite a nice wide spray there. Now I don't think I need very much more. I'm going to make a single triangle to that side and a single triangle to that side. I'm going to make a bit of trunk first. I'm going to pinch about 1 centimetre down. Twist to the pinch. Right, so on this side I've got quite a big space to fill in, so I'm going to put a triangle on a stem because that will fill the space a bit more successfully. So there we go, 3 bugle beads. Now how long do I want this? About there, I think. If I make that triangle there, it fills in this space. So let's establish the triangle, pinch out towards the main trunk and twist to the pinch. There you go, you can see that slots into that little hole quite nicely. Now on the other side we've got a smaller space, so I won't put a stem on this one. Just check I'm using the right side of the wire, the longer end. Get everything around the right way. And 3 bugle beads. 1, 2, 3. Obviously you don't have to use bugle beads, but I rather like them in this design. Right, now this triangle, I want to have a very short stem. So I'm bringing it right up to the trunk. Try not to get the ends confused. There we go. And there's my stamen made. Now move those out the way. And in the style of many demonstrators before, here's one I made earlier. So I've now got 2 almost identical stamens that will go either side of my lily flower, and I've got a lily flower to go in the middle. Now I'm nearly ready to start assembling. I just want to show you the back of the lily flower. Now in the previous video we twisted the 5 petals and the stamen tails together to make a little rope. Now it's really important that this rope doesn't extend too far. As you can see, it's just a short distance, about 1 centimetre's worth. When you twist the wire together it makes quite a solid rope that's round in cross section. Now the problem with that is it's quite bulky, so when you try to attach it to something you end up binding a very thick rope around what you want to attach it to. Whereas if we leave the remainder of the wire untwisted, as you can see I can flatten that out, and that's much thinner to bind on than the rope itself, which would be narrower but it would be bulkier. So I'm going to leave the rest of this wire untwisted, and the same with my 2 stamens. I've got just a little bit of stem on them, but no more. Right, let's get going with this. I'm going to use the 2 holes, one to either side, for the stamen tails. So from front to back it goes down that end hole, and then from back to front it comes up that one, and I'm going to pull it through so it's quite tight. That's already quite firm. Got the same here, so I'm going to go front to back at the other end, pull it up tight, and then back to front through the same hole and pull through. There we are. So we've got our stamens on, but they're not attached yet, obviously, they're just held by tension. Now before I do any twisting I'm going to add in my flower. Now at the moment the flower wire ends are all different lengths, but I'm not sure how much wire I'm going to need, so I don't actually want to trim them at the moment, so I just need to be careful to pass all of them, make sure I don't miss any, and I'm going front to back into the middle hole. That's a bit more fiddly because they're not twisted together, but it's worth just taking the time to get them all through. Of course, with the other wires already poked up through, there's less space than there would have been. There we go, move it to one side, and just a few more to go through, so move it up a bit more. Now, if you've been very precise and measured all your wires, instead of just guessing them when you took them off the reel before you made your petals, that bit would have been a bit easier. Okay, now if I pull the flower down, you can start to see our design starting to appear. Now I'm going to just move the petals out the way for the moment. We can put them back where we want them, but that allows us to see what's going on here. I've left a little bit of throat on the flower. You can see there's about 8mm to 1 centimetre there. I don't want to pull it right up against the surface of the hair comb, because otherwise it will look flat. So I just want to leave that bit of throat. Now, here are the wires from the back of the flower, and my primary concern to start with is to make sure that the flower is secure. So those two are the wires from this stamen, those two are the wires from that stamen, this is the bundle from the flower. I'm going to bring it up over the top edge, under the petals, make sure I'm bringing them all together, and you can see what I mean about fanning out the wires and flattening them now. If I flatten them, you can see them winding around the throat of the flower. Move that petal out of the way. There we go. So the flower is now secure. My problem is though that I've got all of these wire ends. And this is where we go back to our trick of how do we get rid of the ends of the wire. We can cut them, or much neater is to break them off. So you take the shortest one first, put your thumbnail against where you want it to break, and wiggle it backwards and forwards, and it work hardens, it becomes brittle, and it breaks where your thumbnail was. So let's get the next one. I'm going to move to a slightly different position because I don't want all of them to come off at the same point. There we go. And the next one. As you can see, this takes a little bit of time, but it's worth it. So I've broken 4 off at that position, so I'm going to move around a bit more and take some more off there. It's not so good on your thumbnail, this doing lots, but it's much neater than doing it with wire cutters that would leave a little burr. move around a little bit more for these last few. There we go. So that's all the flower wires broken off, really close in, and I can feel that's actually quite smooth already. There's a little catch, but it's not too bad because we've broken them off so close. Now we've got these remaining 2 pairs of wires from our stamens. Now if I'd made really big stamens, I could use these wires to bind around again to help to support them, but it's not necessary with these. I just need to use them to cover over the raw ends that I've just broken off. So I'm just going to gently bind them round, and I shall break these 2 off. Yep, one at a time. One. 2. Now, these last 2, they want to go that way around, which isn't a bad thing because that will catch in any other little ends. Last 2 to break off. And just move that to another position. That's it. Now if I clear away all the wire, if I run my fingers around there, I can feel that's really very smooth. The only catch I can feel is the very last one, and if I'm concerned about that in any way, I can just rub it in with my thumbnail or turn your pliers around and just rub it in with the heel of the handle. That's gone. Lovely. Now we can start to rearrange our petals that we've rather brutally crushed while we've been doing that assembly. There we go. And arrange our petal, our little stamens rather. And there we have it. Simple ingredients, a lovely result. Very simple techniques. I hope you'll have a go. Thank you very much.